All right. So give it just a second for me to get everything pulled up. We're going to talk about writing partnerships. You have received an email, except for there's 4 people who have not, that will have received it in the next 30 minutes or so. So everyone should have a partner. If you don't see that for some reason, then shoot me an email. I did, however, email to the email address that you asked for me to use or for your writing partner to use, so that you kind of, maybe that was a check just to make sure that, yes, you do check that. So you'll notice that there's an assignment in Google Classroom that deals with this. I'm going to talk about writing partnerships first, and then we're going to talk about the assignment, okay? And then let me go over here. Kayla, would you mind shutting that door for me? All right. Okay, so first things first today, before we start writing, from our in-person friends, I want for you to touch base with the person that you've been partnered with. If you have never introduced yourself to that person, I want for you to introduce yourself to that person, because you guys will be working together during class tomorrow when we switch over to the skinny schedule. And then for my distance learners, I want for you to make sure that you reach out to that person. If they've given you a phone number, shoot them a text, send them an email, so that you can plan for what you're going to do for when you meet together. For the most part, I try to pair you with someone either that had similar goals that I thought would be a good writing partner for you, or that based on the writing that I've read from you guys, I was like, I think that they would work well together. Distance learners, you are not paired with the same people that are in the same classes. So just as a heads up over there. And then the partnerships are as follows. This is all our distance learning writing partners that I paired together. And then in person, right here. What's up? Yes, you guys are together. And then here's my in-persons for 6th. Okay. So you are going to look over what you turned into me on Sunday, and you're going to pick 500 words from that, 1,000 words max, that you want to share with your writing partner, and you're going to email them that work before class time. So what I would probably recommend doing is, before we actually start writing today, that we go ahead and we look and we see, what do I want to take and what do I want to share with my writing partner? And you are going to email that to whatever email address that they said that they like the best. You're going to go ahead and send it to them. Okay. You're going to share that in a Google document. Okay. So even if you're not using, just share it through your Bethel, because Bethel to Bethel can work together. That way they can make comments on your writing using the suggestions. So if you need for me to share with you back your document, then ask me to. What that looks like, though, just so that we kind of know when we're working with texts. So when somebody shares with you, it automatically goes to this editing. So you want to change that to suggesting, okay? And suggesting means that you can type in and you can say anything that you put in there is not going to change their original document. It's kind of like when I gave you guys comments on your drafts. And then you can... whenever you enter in things, you can also make comments over here if you want to. Be like, hey, I don't exactly understand what you were going for there. This part of your writing is confusing to me. That you can ask them actual questions. Hi there, Gwen. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Mackenzie. Sorry, I didn't say hi. So you can ask them actual questions about their draft. Questions, I find, especially in the drafting process, can be the most helpful for fellow writers, because they might not have even realized what it is that you point out to them. So that questioning versus you being like, this is stupid, okay? So saying, I'm not exactly sure what you meant here. Can you explain? Okay. So try to be, even if somebody said they like honest feedback, that doesn't mean mean feedback, right? So let's try to be understanding of people's intellectual property. So you'll schedule, if you're face-to-face, you guys will be here and you will work with your partner. And then if you're at home, you're going to need to schedule a Zoom call, a Google Meet, a FaceTime, some way for you to be able to like look at each other's face while you talk about your drafting. And then you're going to make the hard choice of who is going to go first. Okay, so flip a coin. All right. Now, what I'll do is I will set a timer in class if you're here in class. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to set you 10 minutes. And what I want you to do is I want you to read what they wrote. Okay, so while they're reading yours, you're reading theirs. Okay, and so that way it will feel less awkward because you're not just sitting there staring at them as they read, right? So you'll read theirs, they'll read theirs. Use any kind of suggestions to make comments or edits, but these should just be big global things. Like, don't worry about grammar. Okay, don't worry about, even if the person said that was their biggest concern, we can address that later. The big thing is like, does it make sense? Are these characters believable? Is this stuff in here that you can relate with or understand? Okay. And then at the end of the 5 minutes, you'll look back at the form I sent you with the writer's concern. So I have shared that with you guys. That is between the two of you. Okay. I want for you to look over that person's feedback, see what it is that they said that they were concerned about. And then you're going to spend, for the first person, 5 minutes talking with person number one, right? And then they're going to spend 5 minutes working with you. And then you're going to fill out a form for me. So that form looks like this. I've made everybody their own copy. I've also made a copy for you to share your 500 words that you share with your partner to share with me, because I'm also going to give you feedback on that. That is the grade that is for your content grade, right? So you've got your word count grades, then you have your content grade. So the feedback that you're going to give, and even if you want to be like, hey, I'm going to fill this out first before I talk to you because I want to have targeted kind of comments and I want to give you. So first of all, what was their concern? So if they said that they were really worried about their plot and they were concerned that it just seemed like their writing was all over the place, then that's something that you want to address first, right? You want to talk about, okay, I didn't see really that problem. And that might be hard to see in 500 words, right? So you might need to ask them, well, this segment does, you said that you were worried about plot, but this segment that you gave me doesn't have anything to do with plot at all. Could you tell me a little bit about your plot? Okay. Because I want you guys to really spend like a solid 30 minutes with this. One thing that you really liked about their writing. So find one good thing to say. Okay. And just, even if you're like, I don't have anything good, Mrs. Cummings, because it was all really bad. And I'm not saying that anybody's is like that, because I'm sure you all were wonderful and beautiful. Find one good thing to say. All right. I like this idea that you were starting here. Okay. I like the way you structured your sentences. I like the way the dialogue was. All right. Find something positive and good to say. Now, one thing that you think that could be improved. So this doesn't have anything to do necessarily with what they pointed out as their issue. If you want it to be what they pointed out as their issue, then that's fine. Or you can talk about something else. You can say, hey, this 500 words is a little bit all over the place. I think that you could really benefit from some focus. Because some people might choose to take what they wrote last week and expand on it, to revise it, to do more with it this week. And then I have a suggestion for the development of either the plot, the setting, the characterization, the story, whatever. Here's my one suggestion, at least one, that I want to give you as a writer. And then here is one question that I have for you that I really want for you to think about, okay? So you're going to fill this part out, and then what's going to happen is after you fill this out, you guys will discuss it, but then I'll also send you and your partner a copy of what you said, so that you have that as kind of as feedback. Because sometimes when you're in the writing workshop process, things are coming in, coming out. This is your tangible, your copy of this. And you're going to turn this into me along with your 500 words that you submitted to your partner. It needs to come to me no later than Thursday at noon. So I would recommend doing it before you leave here tomorrow. and just going ahead and sending it, or as soon as you get done with your writer's workshop, if you're doing it from home, to go ahead and send that. So in the very least, you're going to make sure that you answer those questions. If you don't know what else to say, just follow my questions. Okay. So if you're not sure what to say when it comes to that feedback portion, then just make sure that you address face-to-face with your person those 5 things. Okay. Workshop, you can earn up to 50 points. This is for thoughtful feedback, completed form. I don't want to see one-word answers. I want for you to take a few moments to be thoughtful. Remember, you want for your partner to also be thoughtful with you and give you actual feedback that you can use, right? It's kind of pointless to be vulnerable and let somebody else read your draft and then not give any kind of useful feedback. And then your draft 500 words that you're turning into me, that's up to 50 points. It's based on your content. Hey.
I just want to help my earlier. It looked like it was up. I've got my ladder. You need to pull it back down where it's supposed to go?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind, that would be awesome. And then remember, this is due by Thursday noon. That's a different due date because I have to get all this stuff graded before the 20th, right? So I want to have enough time to actually give you feedback and read. If I make it at midnight, it's just too late. All right, other notes for this week is we're working towards 1,500 more words. If you need extra time, come see me during RTI. If you want that writing time and just to have to come into here so that you can write, come and see me. We're going to update our nano word count in just a second on the website to update where we're at. And you're going to make sure that you turn in your draft for my focus feedback from you. Remember, that's 500 words. It's not the 1,500 words that you shared the other day. If you need to request access to your file, make sure that you do that before you leave this room today, okay? Because I don't want it to end up being too late. All right. Questions before we go update our word counts? Concerns? Yes, ma'am. No, so on here, look, let's go there right now and just take a look. So you're just gonna put in your ears and update your current number. So the other day we had, you had however many words that you put into the first time. And so if you just hit update, it just asks you to change that number. So that's all you're gonna do. You're just gonna update the number. So whatever you turned into me on Sunday, you're gonna update with that number on here so that you're just logging your progress and you can see it happening, right? Because it feels fulfilling. Even if for yesterday, I only wrote 198 words. I was very ashamed of myself. It was no good, but I'm going to update that because at least that shows I'm making progress, right? Because I fought for those 198 words. Yes, Alexis. Yeah. So back there is probably the best because you can pull that thing down and then you can kind of keep it on you might be able to actually get it close to you. There's also a strip down here. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and go over to NaNoWriMo. Let's go ahead and update our word count so that we can see our progress. And while we're doing that, does anyone else have any other questions? I need a calculator. How are we feeling? You're just amazing. That's so good. I'm so glad. That brings me joy. Thank you. Yes, that's so much better. I don't know what I did. I put in the new Apple TV. That's what I did. And I think I messed it up. Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to update mine with a kind of a flat face because I'm not really proud of myself right now. And I work really well off of shame. So if I feel bad about myself, that will help. Jacob, pull it down, baby. It just happens sometimes, right? It just almost even did it itself. Thank you.
I was walking by and it looked like I saw it. Man, it looked like it was almost up. to the
It looked
ceiling.
crazy. I know, and I was pulling down on it, and I was afraid I was going to rip it out of the wall, and that wouldn't have been good. All right, we had some projection issues for the friends at home. Okay, so I've updated my words. Now that means that we have a solid a little bit over an hour to work on our 1,500 words. So if you want to prepare first if you want to set yourself a little timer and go ahead and get your 500 words ready, if you need to request a draft, remember that I do recommend that you guys have your own copy and then you're actually making me a copy. And that way you don't have to ask me for permission. Does that make sense? So like when you share it with me, you share a copy. Okay. All right, friends at home, do you guys have any questions? You can either ask them in the chat or you can jump on microphone. All right. If no questions, then we'll sign off. I'll go ahead and post this video. Oh, hold on a second. Alexis, what's your question?
Can we just share the document in here of, like, you know, you said the 500 words shared for the writing part of thing? Do we just put it all 500 words in that document and share it with you?
Yes. And make sure that you share a copy with your writing partner as well, to whatever email that
Yeah.
you got. Okay, cool. All right. I didn't address this. This is for people at home. So if you have a partner and they do not respond, they don't do their work, whatever. If you do not hear from them by 4 o'clock tomorrow, okay, so you haven't heard anything from them at all, I want for you to send me an email, send it to my RC Schools email address, or send me a remind so that I know, so that I can be your writing partner for this week. Because you will not be penalized for somebody else who doesn't do what they're supposed to do, okay? And I want for you to be able to get your feedback. So if you have problems or issues, make sure that you contact me by 4 o'clock tomorrow. All right, thank you so much for coming. See you guys later.